1, 2, 3, 4 तीनों बता दिया ना समझ आ गया but they explain one only you know too much people going for talaq no reason fine alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله ان الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا ايها الذين امنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى ال سيدنا مولانا وبارك وسلم عليه. Alhamdulillah, we must thank the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has granted us another day to speak on that masla that each and every one of us live with. Unknowingly, we are committing guna. Unknowingly. That is why the Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam had stated, "Talabul ilmi faridatu wa ala kulli muslimin wa muslimat." It is first compulsory upon every Muslim man and woman to seek the knowledge of Islam.
Alhamdulillah.
बात भी हक है, जिनके पास इल्म होगा वो वही अमल करेंगे.
जी सच बात.
इल्म नहीं तो अमल कहाँ से आएगा? So we spoke on the other day where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Holy Quran, "At-talaqu marratan fa imsakum bima'rufin aw tasrihum bil ihsan." The Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about talaq, which is known as divorce in English language. You say it in English, in Afrikaans, whatever language. अगर मुंह से बोल दिया तो हो गया. As I mentioned to you, that in today's time, according to Sharia, there is only 3 types of talaq. One is known as talaq-e-raji. Raji comes from the word ruju. If you give that talaq, which is one talaq, you have that period of her time where she becomes Pak, she becomes clean, she becomes Pak, she becomes clean. Pak, then she becomes napak, Pak, napak. There is a certain duration for it.
Right.
Within that duration, if you go and touch her with lust, look at her with lust, or speak to her, you can bring her back as your wife.
Right.
There's no reason for anything else. So if she comes back, alhamdulillah, then you still are entitled to 3.
Right.
Why? Because at one night falls away. But this time, if you give another talaq,
right.
that will become the talaq for. So that is talaq-e-raji, the first type. The second type of talaq, as I mentioned, was talaq-e-ba'in. Ba'in means something that is bind, to bind something.
Right.
Bind.
Yeah.
You can understand it like that.
Yeah.
Bind means to tie each other, a knot that is made.
Right.
Now for that knot to break, it is known as talaq-e-bind. And when talaq-e-bind takes place, immediately the nikah will break. Aap ajnabi, wo ajnabi. Right? That is the other thing. Now in talaq-e-bind, this is known as a talaq that was given by the Sahaba Ikram as well.
Right.
As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "At-talaqu marratan," talaq is 2. When he was explaining 2, fa imsakum bima'rufin, if you want to be with them and act upon them in a good way.
Right.
Or tasrihum bil ihsan, or leave them in a good way. If you still want them, nikah karo, usko wapas le aao. Treat them nicely. Otherwise, you leave them and let them go. Na unko taklif ho, na humko taklif.
जी. Ehsan.
So, the second talaq is known as talaq-e-bind. And now the third talaq is known as talaq-e-mughaliza. When you listen to the word mughaliza, it reminds you of something that is dirty. Ghaliza. Ghalaza yazlu.
Colleague.
Yeah. So the third talaq, now if you give the third talaq, it means you are diving into guna.
जी.
How are you diving into guna? You can just say, for example, after 2 days, after 1 year, after 2 years, you want to make her your wife again. If you gave 3 talaq. If the Quran says, if she does not get married to somebody else, And the Quran says, if he does not taste her sweetness and she does not taste his sweetness, in the morning if you give a talaq, it's fine. But if it was not vice versa, even that will not accept. And she still can't come back to the first person.
Okay, then.
So which means there is no need for a person to give 3 talaq. Now you're being stupid. Or you would say you are being emotional, or whatever the case may be. My Nabi Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, darmiyana, yeah? Why go extreme? When you can do it in a good way, why do it in a bad way? Because of all those things that Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala had made permissible upon us, and that is permissible, but still Allah don't like it, and that is talaq. Now if talaq is mughalaza, now you have to go for halal, they say. You have to go get married to somebody else. That person will sleep with her, she will sleep with him. Next morning, if he decides now, you want to give a talaq. Now one man now, in the olden days, he gave his wife 3 talaq. And he understood now 3 talaq. So, he went and looked for an old man that is blind. Kuch nahi janenge, na? Blind, wo kya janega? He thought he was clever, right? He said, I'll give you so much money, I'll make my wife, this lady's nikah with you. You accept? Then what happened now? Nikah ho gaya, raat ka shaadi bhi ho gaya. When morning came, the man said, give a talaq. I said, मैं talaq नहीं दूंगा यार, मैं पूरा जिंदगी अकेला रहा, अब 2 साल का मैं कैसे छोड़ूंगा? पकड़ा गया. And the 3rd talaq now, Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala is giving them that azab. That person must look at his wife every single day of his life, knowing that because of him she slept with somebody else. There's no need for that. Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala says, and through Nabi alayhi salam, leave them nicely, or look after them nicely. Right. That is why, in the time of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, yes, there was an incident, a hadith. Sahaba came to Nabi alayhi salam, said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ghazab ho gaya. He said, what happened, Sahabi? He said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I gave my wife 3 talaq. They said, Ya Sahabi, did you mean that you 3 talaq, or you just meant 1 talaq? He said, Huzur, I meant only 1 talaq, and I gave 3 talaq. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, no problem. If you had in your heart 1 talaq, it's 1 talaq. But now coming down, how Allah's Nabi Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has stated that the straight road is of those of my Sahabi. Alaykum bi sunnati wa sunnati khulafai rashidin. Now coming down in the time of Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, which is almost the same thing that's coming down to us now. He saw now, the man used to do. He said, talaq. In fact, they close, as they're walking out of the house. He said, but I only meant 1. They are playing fools with me. Because they are also human beings. Without the backbone, where are you going to stand?
Yeah, right.
Tum bhi khada nahi ho sakte. So which means that even the time of Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, the people used to do that. And from him, what he said, from today onwards, if anyone say 1 talaq, is 1 talaq. You say 2 talaq, is 2 talaq. 3 talaq, is 3 talaq. There's no going back from it. Right. Whether someone hold a gun to your head, a knife to your throat, or you're under so much pressure, agar de diya, to ho gaya. Now some people also believe now, hey, the wife is pregnant now, giving a talaq. The talaq not accepted. There's no such thing. Yes, the iddat of hers will start after she delivers a baby. But the talaq will happen immediately. Some people, unknowingly, they would say, like sometimes, say to the wife, hey, your leg here, this leg here, is this the same for me, like how your mother's leg is. Immediately talaq ho gaya. Unknowingly, he just said it like that. Which means that if his mother-in-law's leg is haram for him, then hers is also haram for him. So khud ba khud do talaq ho gaya. But now we must remember, my brothers in Islam, so many of us in our houses here in South Africa as well, I've seen myself. They are living with wives where they have already given the 3 talaq. And they're carrying on. And then they want to know why they have problem in their houses. Why can't the wife and husband get on? Zara socho tune zuban se kya nikala? Go back and see. If you want barakat in your lives and you want to know why the barakat not coming, you're reading your namaz, you're reading this, you're doing that. Why is not coming? तुम अपने आप को देखो. Remember, think of what you said. Now the other thing I want to mention as well, as I said, there are so many things that Allah has made permissible. But from all those things, there's one thing that Allah said is permissible, but Allah don't like it. Allah get none. Which means, and that is talaq. Because Allah brings two people together. And when the talaq happens, Allah's throne it starts shaking. Why? Because the work of shaitan is the husband and wife, and who's in the middle? Shaitan. They will make problem. So talaq is the last resort you must go to, no matter what the case may be. You know there are 3 talaqs, but the worst of all talaqs you must give as a Muslim, as a mu'min. The talaq is sunnah, where they would give, some would have given 1 talaq in the first time, 2nd talaq, and then they give the talaq at the end. They are for sure now they don't want. But if there is still imkan, 1 talaq and leave it. Otherwise 2 talaq. Nikah broke, now you can't go any further now. Can't give any more talaq. So if you want to marry her again, you can bring her back in here.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Without suffering the consequences.
There we go. There's no consequences, there's nothing. The nikah will break immediately, you have the witnesses again, and you make nikah. But now, you know, they say in the hadith that, you know, like sometimes our women, sometimes they go through heavy or bad situation. But Allah's Nabi Muhammad Mustafa always said, that woman who was divorced 3 times, uske liye Jahannam. So we must think about these things. Allah has given them that heart, Allah has given them that mind, but sometimes they get jalbazi with it. Before they think, they act. And those that are in that position, like, be careful, because anything can happen. They must look after what they got. So this is the talaq, my brothers in Islam. As I said to you, talaq raji is the first thing you would do. If you're angry, you want to teach them a lesson. The Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has showed us. But also remember that that is one sunnah, and that is one thing that even Nabi Alayhi Salatu Wasallam ne talaq diya. It's sunnah. So he can show you how to do it. Not because हमें दिखाने के लिए
सबक था.
Allah's Nabi sacrificed everything for us. Yeah? Even up to what happens in a bedroom, Allah, Aisha Siddiqa used to tell her as the Sahabas. He took his own life, his own private life, and he put it out there for all of us. And फिर भी हम उस पर अमल नहीं करते. The other thing is that one hadith of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam for our wives. Allah's Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that any wife that leaves the husband to sleep unhappy, or he turns his back away from the wife, from that time right till the morning, the break of dawn, the angels are giving her badwa. Why? Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if I had given order to make sajda for anyone else, I would have asked the wives to make sajda for their husband. Because that is their second khuda. That is their jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept these little words that I have said, inshallah, make us better Muslims for the future. And for those listeners or those that are going to see this clip, inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let them accept it in their heart and act upon it accordingly. Because if we are moving more and more away from Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam, we are going to the Western culture. When time of ours are getting cut, that those 2 birds are cutting, they're cutting the branch.
Yeah.
When they cut it completely, there's nothing. You can't do nothing. What you can do today, do it today, for tomorrow might never come. If you are doing right, do better. If you are doing wrong, change yourself. There's nothing a person can't do. And if it is against the Sunnah and the Sharia of Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam, don't even go near. Allah's barakat will only come on those that act upon Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam. وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين. جزاكم الله خير. آمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. يا رسول الله انظر حالنا، يا حبيب الله اسمع قولنا، إننا في بحر غم مغرق خذ يدي صحح لنا أشقالنا. اللهم تقبل هذه درس الفقه مع جماعة المسلمين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا وبارك وسلم عليه بفضل سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين بحق لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وصحبه وبارك وسلم.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Very nice today.